Hey viewers, my name's Cara. I'm your host for Tuesdays on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we are talking about harmony of power. This week's topic comes from someone named ethertransmission, or at least that's their username. And they have recently moved in with their fiancé, and both of them are practitioners, and they're asking about what we think about the power dynamic that they have going on, because their fiancé is what they refer to as a passive practitioner. She only seeks to protect herself and the family and the home, and so basically she just sort of does defensive magic and doesn't do any spells to effect change on the world, whereas the questioner is an active practitioner and actually does seek to work with and change my world, is how they put it. So their question is about, as they said, they think of it not as a conflict, but more as a balance of power. So their question is whether we think that it's possible that their two styles working in such a balance, with one being more passive and one being more active, or one being defensive and the other being offensive, could create a more stable, powerful, and complete power in the home. Being someone whose practice is very concerned with balance, I would say that theoretically this sounds like a great plan. I think, and the way I'm seeing it in my head, is that it would be really cool to have two people who, prefer to do one type of magic or the other, as it sounds like the two of these people do. People who actually prefer it, because that way they sort of specialize in it. And while the active practitioner may not be as good at things like protecting or whatever, they are better at the offensive magic, the actual going out and making the change, and the other person is good at the protection and the stability and the grounding and whatever sort of things like that. So to me, that's the way I'm seeing it, is just that each person sort of has their specialties, and between the two of them, everything is covered. Or if it were even a bigger family or just a bigger group of people, for everyone to have a specific specialty, and that way you don't have to worry about doing everything yourself on an individual basis. Like me, for example, I'll just start saying in terms of me instead of in terms of these people, since I don't know them. I can't actually think of what I think I'm best at or what I think I'm really bad at. But so for example, if I were really good at one thing but something else became necessary, it would be hard for me to, I would feel like I have to learn all of it. And that's kind of how I feel as a solitary, not having anyone else to work with. Actually, that's a great point. As we kind of have to do everything, or we feel like we have to do everything. Single parents probably feel the same way. They have to do it all. But anytime you have a larger group of people working on something, you have the opportunity to specialize. And this also reminds me of the interviews I just finished reading a book called Modern Pagans, which was the sequel to Modern Primitives, and it's a series of interviews of different pagans, and there were various interviews with members of the Ravenheart family, the famous polyamorous pagan family. And a lot of what they were talking about was that it's so great having this polyamorous family relationship and all of them living together, because whether it's sexual things or physical things or emotional things, or whether it's the actual art business that they have together, each one of them is able to just focus on their own thing and the thing that they like to do, and someone else is worrying about the other thing. Like, for example, Oberon and Winter are really artists, and they design sculptures, and they think about, what's the next thing that we're going to create. And Wolf is not an artist, but is very good at organization and business and budgeting, and so he worries about things like, how are we going to pay the bills, and they worry about what is the next statue going to look like. And so when you have different people working together like that, you have that opportunity. So in this case, I think that's a great thing, especially, and I don't know the case, whether it's that this person doesn't like doing the defensive sort of things and they prefer the offensive, and the other person, it sounds like the fiance does prefer the defensive. They prefer I'll just protect myself and my family and everything like that, and someone else can worry about the other thing. I think that's great. I think that's so great. I do think that's a great balance, and I think that when you have any two energies like that that complement each other and create balance, that's a beautiful illustration of what it is that I am striving for and that I think nature is striving for. And like I said, it doesn't have to just be two. It doesn't have to be a binary of two forces, two opposite forces coming together. It can be multiple forces coming at all different facets and locking together in all multiple different ways. When it's one, it really kind of has to be that one thing has to do it all for you, and if it fails in some way or other, you're just kind of SOL. But this is really just a great topic for this kind of time in my life. I've been thinking about a lot of different things of this nature. I might be moving in with someone soon who maybe also wants to begin practicing, and I've been working more with other people who practice different things and learning from them and kind of dealing with the idea of me being the only one and having, wanting to do everything or needing to do everything, but then sort of expanding into this time in my life where I may have someone else to work with, or I have other people to learn from. I don't have to know it all because someone else might be that resource for me. And I don't have to do everything around the house because some chores are mine and some chores are my brother's, and things like that. And the idea that you have certain friends who you talk to about certain things, and then you have friends from another area of life. You have your work friends and your school friends and your family, and they all accomplish different things for you. They play different roles. And that's not to say that anyone ever has to be only on that narrow path. People are dynamic, people are multifaceted, and that's great about us. But I do think that it lightens the load a bit when you can share it with someone like your fiance. And so, yeah, I think that's really cool. I think that you definitely shouldn't limit yourself to those things and think this is my role and this is where I have to stay. If you do want to branch out and do something else, or if you do both want to work together on either that defensive or that offensive thing. But having that kind of balance just innately, I think, is a really healthy thing and very cool. I would love to take this time now actually to go and record a video or maybe two for my personal channel because I haven't been spending a lot of time there. I have been really busy. I've been posting videos, saving them ahead of time and uploading them or, scheduling them to go up later so that you see things more often, but I haven't been there a lot. So I'm going to end this here. Hopefully that was enough rambly thoughts for you. And I will see you here, not next week, but after the holidays because, excuse me, next week on the collab is subs week. Then we have holiday break. The 22nd through January 5th is holiday break for us here at the Pagan Perspective so that everyone can spend time with family, do some traveling. It's a really busy time of year for everyone. So we do take a little break, and we'll be back on January 6th after the subs week next week. So thank you very much for watching. Visit me on my personal channel, links in the description. I love you all, and I hope you have happy holidays. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.